Put your hands
It's your boy,
together.
Juice Shooter,
He's
and
gonna
the
make
Juice
it all
Killer.
right.
I got my girl Leticia.
Hello. So this is Eunice once again with Singles Point of View. Last week we talked about my testimony of being celibate for 19 years, and I decided just to continue on that path. And one of the things that came to me when I was in prayer was healing. You know, a lot of times different churches will have prayer lines for all types of prayer, because most time you associate healing to the physicality or mental, but there's never a line or there's never a call for healing of a broken heart. And sometimes going through relationship, and you know, the relationship becomes physical, you become intimate, you become celibate, and when you do that and you give yourself to that person, and you give yourself to the next person, and you give yourself to that person, and you give yourself to the next person, that sometimes when your heart get emotionally attached to all these different relationships, it's good to take a step back, get like a refreshing, and just pause and focus on yourself. So Singles Point of View is a Christian-based magazine, and we do practice biblical values, and one of the things that we believe in Singles Point of View is celibacy is in Christianity. So last week we talked about the practicality of being celibate. You know, knowing your boundaries, setting parameters around, making up in your mind how you want to pursue the relationship with Christ, and also how to inward have those friends and that support group that can help you in those relationships. And I want to continue in that flow, because I feel like a lot of times we're hurt, and the sex part of the relationship sometimes cloud the judgment of the relationship. So even if you with someone that is not good for you, in a toxic relationship, it's hard to break away from that relationship if you're having sex with that person, because sex intertwine your spirit with that person. You know, it's not the physical part of being sexual. Is especially for a woman, you give that person your spirit, and that person, you know, becomes a soul tie with you. So we want to continue talking about that. Sexuality, celibacy, I feel, is a form of sexual healing. I will be challenging many followers to come on board and make a vow to be celibate. You know, you don't have to set a time frame. Take it one day at a time, one relationship at a time. Next week, we're going to talk about the spiritual side of being celibate. So please join me on my website at www.singlespointofview.com. And to answer the question that was posed, why be celibate? And I said, because we are Christian based, and the Bible tells us to flee fornication. And sometimes God has that relationship waiting for you, but if you're involved with other relationships, you won't be able to clearly see what God has in store for you. So check me out on the website, hit me back up on Twitter. Thanks. Have a good night.